Hello and welcome back to another episode of Chronicles of War. I'm Alex, and just to start things off, I apologize for bad audio quality. This is being recorded purely off with my laptop microphone because I think I've mentioned it previously. Podcast Studio getting upgraded. Due to that being in the process right now of happening, can't use it right now. So re- record on laptop microphone for now because I didn't have the forethought to just order a microphone to use for my laptop. But anyway, today we're gonna be talking about uh, Fort Drum. So, Fort Drum is in Manila Bay in the Philippines. It was built by the United States, started in 1909 and finished in 1914. It was named after Brigadier General Richard C. Drum. Uh, it was built to protect Manila Bay, and it was built on a pre-standing island. Now, yeah, obviously you think, okay, yeah, that's obvious. It's built on an island, but just wait. So, Fort Drum has two dual 14-inch guns installed on it. You know what they put on battleships? They put those on warships. They're on this fort. Um, they've got a range of 19,200 yards or 17,600 meters. They're named, these two guns are named Batteries Marshall and Wilson. Um, they're named after Medal of Honor recipients Brigadier General William Lewis Marshall and Brigadier General John Mulder Wilson. Now, also, there are two dual 6-inch guns. So batteries Robert and McCree, named for former Chief of Artillery Benjamin K. Roberts and Civil War artillery officer Tully McCree. Now, also, they've got two 3-inch anti-aircraft guns. And now, here's why I'm saying that, like, yeah, it's built on an island, but it's not obvious that it was built on an island. Here's why. So, the top of this fort is a 20-foot or 6.1 meters thick steel reinforced concrete. That is the top of this fort. The sides, also made of the steel reinforced concrete, are 20 to 36 feet or 7.6 to 11 meters thick. This is literally a concrete battleship, which is where its nickname comes from, the Concrete Battleship. It is literally a giant hunk of reinforced concrete with naval guns on top of it. Nothing's getting through. This thing is practically indestructible. So, Japanese invasion of the Philippines happens at January 2nd, 1942. Fort Drum withstands heavy Japanese air attack. It does absolutely nothing because again, there's however many feet. There's 20 feet of reinforced concrete protecting it. Um. So on the 12th, a 3-inch gun is installed from Fort Frank, which is nearby. Uh, the next day, it becomes the first U.S. Seacoast artillery to repel a Japanese scout ship. Then the first week of February, it's attacked by a 150 millimeter howitzer from mainland Philippines by the Japanese. And the middle of March, they bump it up to 240 millimeter siege howitzers. Now this actually does do some damage. it destroys the AA guns and disables one of the 6-inch guns. Um, May 5th, the 14-inch batteries opened fire on a second wave of Japanese troops invading the Philippines. They sink several of the transport ships, which deals heavy casualties. Um, they were forced to surrender on May 6th after the fall of Corregidor, but they did not choose to surrender. Their higher ups forced them to, and they weren't happy about it, but they kept firing until the moment the surrender was finalized. During this entire during all these attacks, since the Japanese invasion, only 5 U.S. personnel were injured, and there were no personnel that were killed. And before, and even though the surrender happened, they didn't technically stop fighting because what they did is they destroyed the guns on the fort so that the Japanese could not use them. Because the Japanese obviously were going to occupy this fort because who in their right mind wouldn't, you know, take over this behemoth of reinforced concrete that they can just hide in and be safe from practically everything. All right, so fast forward now to 1945. U.S. is retaking the Philippines. The U.S. at this point now, the U.S. has taken Manila, and Fort Drum is all that is held by the Japanese now. So, kind of the opposite of what happened when Japan invaded. Um, April 13th, um, after some heavy aerial and naval bombardment, a landing ship pulls up beside it with a bridging arm and deposits U.S. troops on the deck of Fort Drum. Uh, this is a Company F of the 2nd Battalion of the 151st Infantry Regiment of the 38th Infantry Division, along with the 113th Combat Engineer Battalion. Now, they weren't going to attempt to breach Fort Drum because on the inside there's like living quarters and whatnot, which is where the Japanese are holed up right now. Instead, what they do is they pump 2,500 gallons or 9,500 liters of a mixture through the air vents. This mixture is 2 parts diesel and 1 part gasoline. Um, and I think we all know where this is going because what's going to happen is something that's perfect for the 4th of July coming up. They timed a TNT fuse to detonate incendiary grenades to set this off. It goes off, and the hatch on Fort Drum to get inside it weighs 1 ton. The explosion launches it 300 feet in the air or 91 meters. Best part all about this, it's on video. Like, I'm pretty sure you can even see the hatch go flying on video. At least I'm assuming it's the hatch because it goes flying in the air and the hatch went flying in the air. So this 1 ton hatch goes flying in the air and it's on video. You actually can go and watch the video. If you like Google search Fort Drum explosion, it's like the first result to come up, and it is amazing. Granted, it's all there's no audio to it, but it's still cool just to see this. What I think is the hatch just go flying. Like, you'd have thought that thing was made out of cardboard with how far it goes flying in the air. But yeah, and so because of that solution that was 2 parts diesel, 1 part gasoline, they had to wait 5 days before they could go inside the interior of Fort Drum because it was that hot in there, and there had also been fires that lasted for several days. And that's the story of Fort Drum, the Concrete Battleship. Hope you enjoy that. Announcements time. Quite a few announcements now. So, if you aren't don't follow the Twitter, there is a YouTube channel now for the podcast. To find it, I personally would recommend searching for Chronicles of War episode whatever because there's apparently a lot of stuff also named Chronicles of War, and I only found that out because I decided to find out how easy it would be for me to search up the podcast on YouTube. It's not very easy, so I personally recommend just like searching by episode, and episode titles the exact same as they are on the SoundCloud. I don't change the names at all. So yeah, that's on YouTube, and also with that, I've decided that for sure, at least during the summer anyway. I don't know what I'm going to do once classes start up again in the fall, because that's when I'm going back to weekly uploads. But since I'm doing every other week, um, during the summer, I'm decided that on those Wednesdays in between um, weeks, I'm gonna upload like mini episodes. So like, what's gonna be is gonna be like stuff that I would I want to talk about, but there's not enough for like a full video on it, or like with the case for ironically enough, two of the episodes that because I've got three written out so far, but two of the episodes are related to a episode I already did, but I didn't go and it'd be a lot of repeat information if I were to just do a full length episode on them. So that's why. So these are just gonna be ideally uploaded as shorts on the YouTube channel, uh, in between weeks, ideally. So that's the plan with that. Because I'll be honest, I kind of got impatient waiting for this episode to be able to be released because I uploaded all of the previous episodes to uh, YouTube the Friday after episode 10 came out, and that meant I had to wait an entire week. I had to wait over for a week, so technically a week and a half, to do anything with this episode. So kind of gotta be impatient. But yeah, yeah. So again, the Twitter, like I've said in previous episodes, you can use that to on the pinned tweet or whatever. Um, you can comment future episode ideas, which now they don't have to be something I can fit into a full length episode because they can be a short minute episode as well, type of thing. So it's again, just in case it's at capital C Chronicles capital OFF 44. Also, it's linked on the YouTube channel, and also just like, or if you don't want to comment on the message on the Twitter, you can comment underneath one of the videos on YouTube. Be like, hey, you should cover XYZ, and I'll look into it. It just depends on how much, if I can find stuff on it, because I actually had a episode that was planned, but then I went to actually write my notes for it, only to find out there was nothing that was actually happened other than like it happened, but there was nothing to it. It's like, oh, so that was kind of unfortunate because I was really looking forward to it because I think I mentioned about it previously how I had an episode that was planned out like 10 episodes in advance. I've got a replacement video that ironically takes place like 2 weeks later than that one. So I'm planned out all the way to episode 26 right now. Although, granted, there's no set order for the majority of them. I've only got like the next two episodes properly planned out because I cannot do not want to wait to do them. But yeah, that's that. Um, if you want to know like any other information, just like comment on YouTube. I try to answer comments as soon as possible. Sometimes it takes me a minute. Sometimes I don't answer right away because like I don't see them. Because like what I try to do though is I will check comments. What I will check to see if there's any comments when I get up. Um, and then like occasionally I'll do it like right before I go to sleep, and then I'll also like check when I get to work as well because I can do that. But yeah, this episode is actually another one that was as previously mentioned. I get a lot of episode ideas from the Fat Electrician. This is another one of those episodes. I definitely didn't go into as much detail as he did in his video on it, so you should definitely check it out. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode. Catch you in the next one. Thanks for listening.